No, not on my watch. So I began to have a conversation with Mr. Stokes here, and stated that if he took the vehicle, he would be arrested. And he pretty much stated that he would tow the car anyways and bring it up in court, which I suspect is the reason why we're here, right? So then I'd say about like a minute later, after we're sort of having a back and forth, there's quite a few people or civilians in the area, you know, typical, the fuck the ops, that kind of stuff. Excuse my language, Your Honor. But the person who had almost struck me on the sidewalk had then already returned the test drive vehicle. And we were right outside of those like garage doors, essentially. And I asked for the person's ID, to which they stated they didn't have any, which is also problematic because that's also illegal. So I attempt to detain this individual. They then run on foot to the opposite side of Mosley's towards Davis. So we were originally on Strawberry. We run through like the outside sales area, where the cars are on display on the outside. We run straight through to the other side. And there's a white two-door vehicle. I want to say it was a 9F that was picking up this individual. Before he got to the car, I tackled him, attempted to place him in cuffs. They resisted. They jump in the car, Your Honor. They jump in and they leave, right? So now I'm sprinting back to my car to try to pursue this vehicle. And upon getting back to my car, what do I see? I see Mr. Stokes with the bed of his tow truck down in front of my car. He's at the, you know, closest to the cab on the bed of the tow truck with a wrench in his hand. And I make it clear to him. I make it clear. If you touch my damn car. Now, this isn't, you know, verbatim, but essentially the gist is, if you touch my car, I will place you under arrest. I will, because I ain't the one. And I made it very clear that was a lawful order. I made it clear, spelt it out. And by spelt it out, I done said it. And you know what? Mr. Stokes decided to have the audacity to hook up my car and start reeling it in onto the tow truck. To which, I mean, at that point, he also at this point mentioned something. He was like, well, it's illegally parked or some. Anyways, at this point, I tell him to put his hands behind his back. Now, Your Honor, I'm not being insensitive here. I did not realize he only had one. But he refused. He refused, Your Honor. And by refuse, he did not listen to any of what I was saying. He just started walking away like the rules don't apply to him. Okay? And so I tackled him. Yes, I did. And I placed him in cuffs. And that's kind of where we stand. Now to be clear, originally my vehicle did have its emergency lights on. Okay? I then turned off my emergency lights and kept on my taillights and headlights, Your Honor. Reason being, I understand the penal code ain't perfect, okay? There's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And Your Honor, I'm an atheist, okay? And in the penal code for unauthorized parking, that shit says something like government vehicles with lights and or sirens are exempt. Your Honor, I don't know about you, but headlights, tail lights, they were on. So no. In the statement given here, in that opening, I heard...
We gotta just object for a second, because the legislation around the towing of government vehicles has been changed since the incident occurred.
That's how it's always been written.
Well, it was always, before it was specified emergency lights.
No, that's not true. It was always specified as government vehicles, lights and or sirens are exempt. This is the exact conversation I had with Mr. Stokes at the time.
Where did you see this written down?
Lights.
It's literally under unauthorized parking in the penal code. So back to what I was saying, you know, I heard here in an opening statement, you know, at the time the law is clear. And I agree. It was very clear and still is to this day. And I do agree that officers should not be above the law. But the law does make it so that my vehicle is exempt. As long as my lights were on. And guess what? Take a look at the photo and evidence. Those lights are on. Which makes it so that my parking was perfectly legal. In addition, now this is important, Your Honor, okay? People can't just be putting makeshift signs anywhere they want and pretending that it's now a tow zone. That's not how that works. No. And to make matters even, even worse beyond that, Mr. Stokes here must believe that he should be given a full-on explanation as to why a lawful order is a lawful order. However, that is not the case. What he does have to do, if he does not believe a lawful order is lawful, is comply regardless and challenge it in court moving forward, because officers are not going to sit there and argue as to why something is a lawful order on the side of the road when they're too busy dealing with everything else. Could you imagine if we had the legal requirement to explain it on the spot before they complied? That is absurd. That would be absolutely absurd. So to be clear, this all started because he thought my vehicle was illegally parked, unauthorized parking. It was not. My lights was on. Mr. Stokes decided to not follow my very clearly stated lawful order or any direction that I gave him. And my vehicle was taken on the basis that he decided to pull that shit up onto the back of a tow truck and pretty much said, too bad. That's not what he actually said, but in general, it's kind of a, yeah, well, you're illegally parked. Regarding the resisting arrest, that's because he done started to walk away on foot, not listen to anything. He was fleeing on foot in an attempt to escape. And what was the other charge? Oh, there was two. Felony obstruction of justice. Mr. Stokes hooking my vehicle up despite telling him not to prevented me from pursuing the vehicle that helped the person escape from that scene in which they almost struck me and were driving without a license and all of that stuff. And they did so intentionally. And yes, it did hinder the discovery, apprehension, conviction, and punishment of a person who committed a crime. Okay? And lastly, upon arrest, because his vehicle was then in the middle of the road, and it was a tow truck, Your Honor. Commercial parking violation. And I think that's where we stand. I think that's all.
All right. Defense.
Just 1 second. Your Honor, after hearing Matt Rhodes' statements,
he's gonna say
I
something
believe
dumb.
He hit most of the details on things. And
But
I don't really believe that we can get anywhere unless we don't have... I think what we need to have is an open floor debate on the whole situation and poke holes in each other.
Fred, I just got
actually-
remarried.
Not literally.
Hey,
Oh,
Fumbles,
okay.
how about you
All
just
right.
come ask some questions? I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm not
I'm
awake
loose
yet.
knuckles. Come on, don't be clowns today.
What
Oh
did I
no.
say your name? Wait, what did I say your name was?
Fumbles. He's yellow.
Oh no.
Whatever. My bad, man. My bad, Fumbles.
Oh man. What? No.
All
you
right, Fred, how about this? We will allow for proper cross-examination. We will allow for Mr. Stokes to do a proper testimony. And before closings, instead of going over evidence on each side, you guys can have a debate before closings instead of going over evidence. How
I think
about
it'll
that?
be really... thank you, Your Honor. I really
I'm
appreciate
okay with
you.
that.
And may I say, you look... you look lovely today.
Hey, Fred, what kind of breakfast sandwich is that?
This is a bagel with egg, sausage, and cheese.
That's a good choice.
Can't fault him with that one.
Mm-mm.
Rhodes got married?
Yeah, got remarried today. Well, given the collapse, having it re-acknowledged by the government,
Congratulations, but I always thought
Thank
you could
you.
do better than dark.
Fred,
I
come
mean-
on.
I could be so cursed and point out that you and your son both got married today.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. To make
Oh,
matters
fuck, got
even
married
worse,
too?
yeah. To make matters even worse, a lot of people don't know this, but Ziggy originally wanted me. I turned him down.
Oh.
Now he has Flop.
Is this
You're
turning
like,
into Jerry Springer?
No,
You're like
they're
a
not
gay
here.
Gold medal, Matt Rhodes. Every man wants you.
Oh my god, that's so kind. Except Mr. Stokes. Mr. Stokes hates me.
Nah, I don't hate you, Officer Rhodes.
Debatable.
Hate is a strong word.
What questions y'all got for me? I got answers, maybe.
Oh yeah, you brought up during your narrative that Mr. Stokes was pushing your car when you initially saw him.
Yes, that
Did
is
you
true.
charge him with anything for pushing your car?
No.
Where your car was parked, did you see the no parking sign?
Did I see something that said no parking? Yes, I did.
Now, I know that you lay down the law in your duties as an officer to help protect us. Even if by those shots that we just heard outside, it sounds like you guys aren't. Do you consider an operator of a motor vehicle responsible for what happens to their motor vehicle?
Here we are. Let me just put that up there. I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you do you consider the operator of a motor vehicle responsible for what they do with that motor vehicle?
Yeah, I do.
You earlier said you're a proponent of yuck around and find out. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now, as a responsible operator of a vehicle who understands yuck around and find out, if you park illegally, did you not yuck around and find out?
Wait, did you ask if I parked illegally?
Hypothetically, if you had parked in a legal manner, does that not indicate that you yucked around?
Okay, so I do apologize because I'm a little confused. Are you asking if I parked illegally?
Probably too busy with graffitiing. If you park illegally, did you yuck? Does that constitute yuck around?
Yeah, it would. If somebody is parked illegally, yeah, you are entering, fuck around. And eventually you're going to find out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just don't forget I wasn't parked illegally.
Right.
Wait,
Anything from your
one
co-counsel?
final question.
Okay.
Sorry, Your Honor.
No, you're good.
Can you refer to the defense exhibit B, the photograph on the record?
I most
Look at
certainly
this
can.
Photograph.
What does the sign say where your vehicle is parked?
No parking, you will be towed.
Okay. If you have any questions, go ahead, Pred.
I think you did pretty well, Fumbles.
Not fumbles.
Wow.
Stumbles.
Who's not holes?
Your Honor, do I get my clap back?
Yes, I will. As unorthodox as it is, because you don't have representation for redirect, I'll let you clap back.
Okay, I'll stick it to stuff that was just questioned. Could y'all reference Exhibit B? And let me know once y'all can see it.
Well, seeing as I'm the only one that matters, yes, I can.
Okay, all right. Your Honor, do you see the light coming from the front end of that police car? In
I
addition,
confirm that.
what is typically a reflector located at the bottom, bumper cover, that red light, that's actually a tail light on these vehicles. Okay, so to be clear, the lights of this vehicle were on, therefore this was not unauthorized parking. I want to make that very clear. And you know what, Your Honor? Even the license plate light was on. And again, there's spirit of the law, letter of the law. I'm an atheist. I never seen a spirit, ain't talked to them, you know? But I have seen the letter of the law. And even that license plate light alone, as long as it's on, Your Honor, lights and or sirens, that's a light. There's multiple lights. There are 2 LED strips, 2 headlights on the front, the 2 taillights on the back. In addition, Your Honor, the license plate light. That's a whole lot of lights. Crazy that Mr. Stokes was unable to figure that out. And again, back to the whole people putting up signs. While I can understand where they may be coming from, think of the dangerous precedent set by allowing those to be enforced, unless directed by the state. I think that's most of what I got.
All right.
Your Honor,
Thank you.
Your Honor, it's a bit unorthodox, but based on what he just said, would you permit me to ask him just a couple other questions?
I don't mind. I'm not opposed, Your Honor.
You know what? This entire case is unorthodox. He's not opposed. Go ahead.
Okay. Officer, if you open up your MDT and look at the charges, how many grams constitute? If I have 113 grams of marijuana in my pocket, what charge would you hit me with?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You said 113 grams?
There's a point to this, I assure you.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh, I
113.
know exactly what the point is.
Okay.
There is nothing.
For possession of marijuana?
Yeah. You talking to letter of the law, man. If one says more than 113 and the other says less than 113, then according to this, 113 is legal.
Sounds like I guess we should all be walking around with 113 grams of marijuana in our pocket.
Well, don't sell one, because then you're screwed.
So,
Wait, how many grams is that?
exactly 113. Any more and you're a felony, any less and you're a misdemeanor. Now,
Huh.
officer, in your professional opinion, do you believe that the legislation intends for people to walk around with exactly 113 in their pocket?
I couldn't answer that. Not up to me. I can't really answer that.
So the way you police is there is no subtlety to the law. It is the way it's written and nothing but. Is that,
Yep,
is that what we're understanding?
And more often than not, things need to be challenged and brought up in court for those inconsistencies to be resolved.
I guess no more questions.
All right, Rhodes, you can step down.
I guess it's time for the debate segment.
Mr. Stokes providing
Oh, yeah,
testimony
that's right.
or no?
Oh, yeah. What do you want Mr. Stokes to do?
Mr. Stokes, I will remind you, you are under no obligation. It is up to you for your best judgment.
Yeah. I'm with Fred.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to take the stand.
Okay, are you familiar with your right against self-incrimination?
Yes.
And you understand the consequences of waiving that right?
Yes.
And you understand the consequences of re-invoking that right, should you choose?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please.
This chair is a little finicky. I might
It
just.
is.
Is it all right if I
Yep.
stand at the stand?
Yep. Please raise your left nub. You
Oh,
swear and affirm that the
no.
testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under pains and penalties of perjury. Geneva Conventions be damned, so help you. Airborne.
I violated the Geneva.
Okay, your witness has been sworn in, Moose Knuckles, when you're ready.
I thought the Geneva Convention was like a suggestion list.
Not if they signed on to it.
Oh no! Didn't they make it for us
Nope.
Canadians so that we would be able to remember what we did and?
Yeah, they kind of made it for us so that we stop being such fucking animals on the field of war.
Yeah, they did.
I'm a
Go
goddamn animal
Canada.
on the field of war. I'm a goddamn animal on the field of war, Your Honor. I'm an animal. I don't regret trying to eat that woman. She had a bomb strapped to her. We wouldn't have known if we weren't hungry enough.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
We shot her down when they offered us humanitarian aid, and then we dragged her lifeless body inside. We were going to eat her, and she had a bomb strapped to her chest, but no pizza.
That is
War is
Honorary
hell.
Canadian right there.
more as hell. Yeah, that does sound very Canadian. Everyone who is involved in that war needs therapy.
Viva Sigweed!
Oh my gosh.
Moose Knuckles, even I have PTSD from that at this point.
Oh God. Oh my God. Only imagine if you were there, it was 5 hours of that.
You poor
Oh man.
Alright. Moose Knuckles, Fred, when you're ready, your witness.
Let him have his let him give his testimony.
Yeah, they would like me to make my.
Can he
Would it be
give
all right if he did a narrative?
Is it
Alright,
okay if he
I
does narrative
will-
as well?
In the interest of fairness, I will allow it, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So on the night of April 5th, 2024, I was out doing my job towing, and I ran out of tires, which are very important because locals, they be busting their tires everywhere on the side of the road all the time. So I went to Mosley's to go get some, and I noticed that two of my coworkers, Draxon Payne and Layla Lockhart, they were attempting to deliver a vehicle that had been ordered to Mosley's. And this little spot, it's Mosley's vehicle drop-off spot. And you know, that's where you drop off the cars for Mosley's when they order. Anyway, so Officer Rhodes, his police vehicle, it was parked directly on that spot. And there's a sign that he had actually kind of knocked over and parked on top of that says, "No parking, you will be towed." So I went to talk to my coworkers, and I realized that they couldn't deliver their vehicle that they were trying to deliver because of this vehicle. So I went to the back of Officer Rhodes' police vehicle, and I just, tried to nudge it out of the way. And that's when Officer Rhodes came out, and he approached me and told me to stop touching his vehicle without permission. So I immediately stopped pushing it, and then me and Rhodes started getting into a little argument about him parking there. And during the argument that we were having, the discussion we were having about his parking there, some people had started to gather around, and one of those people out to tow him. And I calmly explained to that person that I was not allowed to tow Officer Rhodes' police vehicle because his emergency lights were engaged, which means he was in an active situation, and therefore it was not illegally parked, no matter how much in the way it was. That's when Officer Rhodes, during our discussion, decided to get into his vehicle and turn his emergency lights off, and then get back out of his vehicle and continue engaging in conversation with me about this incident that was happening.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, he's very petty. Anyway, so now his vehicle was illegally parked, and I went ahead and informed him of that I would tow his vehicle if he did not move it because it was illegally parked. He turned his emergency lights off. He was no longer in an active situation. He was just having a discussion with me.
Nice toe baiting, Rhodes.
He did not re-engage
thank
his
you.
emergency lights and walked off. So when he walked off to go back to Mosley's, I had warned him. He didn't turn on his emergency lights again. He was not engaged in any active situation as far as I could tell because his vehicle was just parked in the no parking spot. So I went ahead and, got a picture of it to prove that it was, in an illegal spot and marked it for tow and then started to get everything ready to put it onto the back of my tow truck to take to the impound lot. Just as I was getting the vehicle up onto the bed, that is when Officer Rhodes reapproached me and told me to not touch his vehicle, and that he would arrest me if I did. And I told him, I warned you, it's illegally parked. I'm towing your vehicle now. And right after I got it all secured on my bed and ready to go to the impound lot, that is when Officer Rhodes tackled me as I was on the way to the cab of my tow truck and put me in handcuffs.
That'd be fun.
All right. Do you have any follow-up questions for your client?
You want to ask him? Just to clarify, did you did you warn Officer Rhodes about where his vehicle was parked?
Yes, I did inform him that it was parked in an area that is where they deliver the vehicles, and he was obstructing that.
You were charged with commercial parking violation. What was your vehicle doing at the time that you were charged with this?
Before or after I was put into handcuffs?
I mean, when you were at the time you were arrested.
The time that I was arrested, some police officers got into my truck to try to get his vehicle off of the bed, and they did move it from its original position. But before that, it was just ahead of the delivery spot, so I could get his vehicle out of that area and up onto the back of the bed.
Okay. Nothing else since he gave his whole narrative.
That's fine. I'm ready. I don't have any questions for him. I'm ready to debate this shit because I think that's going to be the only way.
All right. Rhodes, cross-examination.
Yeah, I got a couple, maybe more than a couple questions. Mr. Stokes.
Officer Rhodes.
Can you reference Exhibit B?
Okay. 1 second. Let me just pull it up here real quick.
And
yes. Okay.
Okay. And do you see the lights on that vehicle?
Objection asked and answered.
I didn't. No one asked about.
It was mentioned multiple times in his narrative.
Yeah, but I ain't mentioned. asked. This is a clarifying question because there seems to be confusion amongst lights and emergency lights.
The only confusion about that shit is you.
Okay, Fred. I am going to sustain the objection only because, Rhodes, I know where you're getting at. Just get there. You don't have to dance around.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Mr. Stokes,
Yes, Officer
You
Rhodes.
you mentioned that your tow truck was positioned in front of mine. Now, when you say in front,
What did you just
was
do?
it in any way, shape, or form obstructing the road?
Objection.
On the ground.
He's asking for an opinion.
Opinion of a layperson?
Yeah, that guy's missing a hand. He's got one eye. I think the picture's sufficient evidence.
As much as your argument is compelling, I'm not going to use it to sustain your objection. However, Mr. Stokes was never established as an expert witness, so it is sustained as opinion of a layperson.
Okay. Well, I mean, Your Honor, his opinion as a layperson, wasn't really called into question when he mentioned it was in front of my. I ain't asking him to. Let me.
Rhodes, listen, you need
What?
to calm down. The judge already ruled on the objection. You need to move on. Stop arguing with the judge. I don't want to see you get contempt of court.
I'm not arguing with the judge.
You're arguing with the judge right now.
I'm not arguing
Stop
with the
arguing
judge.
with the judge. You need to stop arguing with the judge now.
Okay. All right, Mr. Stokes, can you do me a favor?
Yes, what is it, Officer Rhodes?
Could you read that paper I put up there?
I don't know, the
Objection,
handwriting
I
is a
want him
little
to
hard to
read
read.
it.
Oh, it's a little hard to read. I'll read it for you. It says, "No lawyering or you will be fined $1 million."
Looks like graffiti.
I can see
Yeah.
that from here, but that's
Are
because
you-
I have 2015.
Are they allowed to put that in? Are you allowed to put that up in the courtroom? Who put
You
that
know
up
what?
there?
You brought up a real good point. Were those signs at Mosley's enforceable?
Objection, scope.
Oh.
Your Honor, his entire premise behind all of this was I was illegally parked based upon
Honor-
signs that were
Your
left
Honor, may I
there.
rebut? Your Honor, may I rebut? If Matt Rhodes wanted to prove in those signs not being followed, then he should have gone down to Mosley's and done a little research about it. All right, now I for one know that is a parking zone. That is like a loading zone designated. I know because I've towed several cars there. Tens of people's cars, and they've chased me off with guns. And I just don't think that, Matt Rhodes is trying to skip some steps when it comes to
Objection,
these
Your
tow
Honor.
laws.
Okay, if he's going to be testifying, I'm actually going to say this is also an opinion of a layperson.
I am the tow union boss.
Opinion of a layperson. Have you been
I
called as
am
an
the
expert
tow
witness?
union
You
boss.
couldn't even
I'm
get
stating
here
facts.
on time.
I forgot about the case. I'm stating facts.
Good to know I'm so forgettable, Kyle.
It's not because of you. It's not because of you. I didn't have an alarm set, and it wasn't because of you.
I don't want to
Gatsby.
say
You're-
it's because of
you're
me,
good-
but he couldn't
it's
remember
because
my
of him.
name.
No, it's because of him. It is because of him. He talked to me, and I just let it drift away in my mind. I apologize. I'd go anywhere for you.
All right. You know what, Rose? I feel like the questions regarding the signs are better
Good
for
work.
the debate part.
You know what? I'll agree with you there. Your Honor, I don't know
So
if you
as
realize the
entertaining
reoccurring
as that
theme
Bat-
of me not objecting. Okay?
Hey,
There's a
listen,
point.
I take my job serious, unlike this unfunny fucking clown behind me. All right.
Oh
When
my
I'm in the
God.
courtroom,
What?
it's to do battle. It's to go to war. I go to war just like I did against the American government.
Ooh.
And it would have been the world if we won after that.
Okay.
Am I catching strays?
All right. I'll
Sorry,
ask one
sorry,
last
Fumbles.
question. One
Fumbles.
last
Sorry,
question.
Fumbles.
Mhm.
Loose knuckles.
Who's not
Oh
cool?
my
There you
yuck.
go.
Do you know the difference between normal headlights and taillights versus emergency lights?
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to have to say that's opinion of a layperson. It's not his job to really know about the police vehicle. I mean, he can recognize if lights are on and off, given by his own statement. So I'm actually going to change it to asked and answered. He already answered this question. I think we should move on.
Your Honor, to be clear, my question is whether or not he knows the difference. Okay? And if his job
Objection.
is to
Opinion of a lay person. It's not his job.
Your
to know the
Honor,
difference.
if he
just
is a
needs to
lay
be able to spot
person,
the light.
then he should not attempt to enforce laws in which he does not understand.
He is a good, honest towing man.
Who fucked up?
Okay. Let's go through this. Opinion of a layperson. While yes, we've already established he's not an expert witness when it comes to the lights of an emergency vehicle, that should be considered common and public knowledge, so it is allowed to be asked that it's going to be overruled. When it comes
Why
to ask
changed-
and answered, I believe Rose is trying to ask a clarification to get to a different point. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm reading you right.
Mm-hmm.
An objection
I-
scope facts are already in evidence.
Facts are
Those are
already in evidence. It was brought into scope by your client's testimony. I will say that I don't think it's necessary for you to get to your point, but if you feel it is, I will allow it.
You know what, Your Honor? Listen, I'm all about. Again, you ain't really heard many objections from me. I'm
Objection,
okay.
not
Let's
a
get
question.
to the debate
Objection, not a question, Your Honor.
because listen, I know Pred very well, and the
Objection,
only
talking
thing
to the
he's
judge,
doing
not
right
the
now
client.
is screeching to get everything to stop.
think he just wants to
Objection.
debate.
Rude.
Okay,
Objection,
non-objection,
but
Did
also-
he read
truth.
through like an open book?
Maybe I should allow it because he does know me. He was my undersheriff for years.
Yes, he was.
I was the force that brought you to center. Okay,
Yeah, you were my rock
Your
and
Honor,
my
I ain't got.
stability.
Mr. Stokes useless here. That's fine. We can just go to the debate.
Okay.
Oh
Uh,
my God! He called my
for-
client useless, Your Honor.
For the sake of fairness, defense, do you have any redirect for your client before you dive into this debate?
Wait, hold on. How come me and Moose Knuckles are catching strays out here where these guys are arguing up in the middle of the courtroom? What the hell's happening here?
Because we're the gladiators.
You're
This is
seeing
no longer about you and Matt Rhodes. It's about me and Matt Rhodes. I've hijacked it. Change your name on the docket.
You're seeing an unstoppable force meet an immovable object. We're all catching strays.
This
Fair
be
enough.
true. I'm the immovable object. He's the unstoppable force.
All right, now get your handicapped ass back here.
Well, hey, I don't have a handicap sticker on my car. Okay, I'll get towed if I.
At
park
least,
in a handicap spot.
it seems you.
Believe it or
they know
not,
your
yeah,
name.
there's no legal exception unless it's a government vehicle with lights on.
I've
There
been
is no
trying to
handicap
get-
exception.
I have been trying to get a handicap pass for a while.
Oh my gosh.
See, Your Honor, I have
Lucky
double
was
Down
trying
syndrome.
for a few years and never got it. So if you can, kudos to you.
So how we doing this debate? What happened in here?
All right, I believe.
You know how
Um,
debates work. Point, counterpoint. You volley back
Mm-hmm.
and forth.
Okay.
Don't talk over each other. Don't.
You don't have
Get-
to direct that to me. That's a Pred thing.
I will do my best to keep you in line, but for
I'll
if
always
you're
listen to you.
entertaining me, I will just let you keep going. So if you're going to
Okay.
be rude, at least be entertaining about it.
All right,
Okay.
Rose, listen.
Fair. I'm listening.
I'm going to jumpstart this debate.
Do it.
You know the difference between emergency lights and lights?
I most certainly do.
Okay, so you know the difference when you're out there between emergency lights being on and lights being on.
Yeah, correct. I do.
You said your letter of the law.
Very letter of the
Follow
law.
The letter of the law.
Very
Good
letter
thing
of the
it's up
law.
to the judge to interpret the law for this court case.
You're
Now,
right. You're right.
Let me tell you something, Rhodes. I've towed a dozen police cars.
Okay.
Second you turn those lights off in that loading zone, you were doomed. Now,
Right.
I will
Lights.
point
I'm
something
glad
out
we
to you.
agree. Lights. Not emergency lights.
Turned the emergency lights off.
That's not what you
okay?
said, Pred. And you know your
You
original
turned-
thought was
you
the right
turned
one.
The emergency lights off. You turned your emergency lights off. You
And
did it
left my
on your own
lights
volition.
on.
In a loading zone. In a loading zone.
There. No, that's not what
And Some
happened.
of these charges are real flimsy that you pushed.
Flimsy.
Yes.
Uh-uh,
Yes.
no.
Allow me. All right.
Like
allow
what?
Me, allow me. All right, so
Rhodes,
simply,
I should
let's.
warn you that he's already been established as an expert witness on police matters in
have-
both
I
mine
have.
and Surge Cross's courts.
Yeah, no, that's
I have-
okay. That's okay.
All right.
All right, so the taking or operating of a vehicle's owners without an intent.
Yeah, he
so
took it.
basically,
He took that shit.
whenever, so, but if we follow the letter of the law, then whenever we tow vehicles, it's considered joyriding. It's an arrestable offense. Then you see,
No,
he's
you
not-
have
do
the legal
believe that-
authority to tow
No,
it
listen.
if it's illegally
No, no.
parked.
No, listen. Your vehicle. Well, then that's your vehicle was illegally parked.
It was not. No. No.
But
Unauthorized parking.
But if you follow the letter of the law, that would
Uh-huh.
mean that technically you could get any tow truck driver for joyriding when they have a car on their bed.
No,
So let
not
me
if
ask
it
you a
was
question.
legally towed.
See, that's besides the point because there's no specification on any legal or legal tow.
No,
There's
there
no
is.
legislation.
There is.
No.
What-
There
Fred,
isn't. There isn't.
Unauthorized
Find it.
parking is literally the reason. Okay. For example,
Oh,
there
so
is
you were
nothing in the penal
unauthorized
code
park.
that says not murdering someone is legal. But
But
in
if
the
you
penal
follow
code
letter
says
of the law, then you are interpreting the law then, and you were no longer following the letter of the law. So as you can
no,
see
that's
my
not
point,
true.
You are interpreting an illegal tow despite it not being outlined in legislation.
No,
Technically,
incorrect.
Since there's no
Not
it's
correct.
not, there's no tow legislation about an illegal or illegal tow. I swear.
Let's just go over this, okay? Unauthorized
go over
parking.
it.
Parks in an area that is unsafe on government property. Parking on a sidewalk to include any portion of the tire touching the curb. Parking in the wrong direction of traffic.
Vehicle may be subject to tow.
Yep, maybe. And guess what? It states government vehicles with lights and or sirens on are exempt from this statute. Therefore, it does not apply if my lights were on, which they were. So Mr. Stokes is in the
It is specifying
Find
emergency
out
lights,
phase.
and you know it.
That's
It is
the-
specifying.
Where does it say
lights,
emergency?
and you know it.
Where
You
does it
tow-
say
You
emergency?
tow-baited him.
Where does
tow-baited
it say
him.
emergency?
It says it in the legislation.
Incorrect. Maybe now.
It
Didn't before.
it said it before. It said it in the actual legislation when it came to towing government vehicles. Under the clamp laws.
The clamping laws were for clamps, not
also-
tows.
Yeah, but they also listen.
No,
You need to shut up for a second. You are out of your depth, Donnie. You need to shut up.
I'm out of my depth.
You're out of your depth. You were illegally fucking parked, and you know it in a goddamn loading zone.
No, I was not.
On Mosley's.
I was not illegally parked. Just like because my vehicle has tinted windows does not mean it's a tint violation because government vehicles are exempt.
Where does it say that?
Literally in the tint charge.
Perfect. All right, it states it in the tint charge.
Just like it states it in unauthorized parking.
So you interpret lights and sirens being on as any goddamn light being on.
Lights and or sirens. Bitch, my license plate light was on. That qualified.
We all know what that means, Rhodes. It means emergency lights. You turned your emergency lights off and forfeited your vehicle.
Bitch, I
It
must
should've
be
been towed.
blind because I don't see the word emergency there. I see
Now, let me
government
ask you something.
vehicle.
Do you believe that he attempted to tow your vehicle in bad faith? Do you
Yes,
think it was a
absolutely.
bad faith tow?
I do.
Under-
I do.
How so? How so? How
You know
so?
what? I'm gonna say it. I think Mr. Stokes is fragile. Okay, when I saw that one arm,
Oh my
Okay,
God.
look at him. He's
Oh my
obviously
when
God.
I saw
fragile.
that one armed cyclops from
alone.
within Mosley's trying to
Whoa,
push my
Jesus.
car, okay, I knew it. I knew it. I fucking can't.
Your car was illegally parked.
No, incorrect. Wrong.
Let me ask you something. If your car wasn't a cop car, would it be illegally parked?
It depends on if it was a government vehicle. That's so.
I'm asking if your car wasn't a government vehicle, would it have been illegally parked?
But that's not what you asked. You said
I'm
cop
asking
car.
if your car wasn't a government vehicle, would it be illegally parked?
It would have been illegally parked if it was not a government vehicle
Your lights,
with lights
your,
on.
your emergency lights were not on. Your emergency lights were not on.
Yeah, I don't see the word emergency there.
Your goddamn emergency lights weren't on.
You're right. I never claimed that
It
they
used to s-
were.
Your Honor, I don't know if there's a way for us to pull up the old clamp mandate thing before they changed some of the laws, but when this happened, it specified emergency lights having to be on, and I believe
We're not
that
talking
if
about
you
clamps,
follow-
Your Honor. No clamps. Tow.
no, the clamp specified emergency lights because it was under the guise of the unauthorized parking charge being, I was told by multiple judges that if the lights are off on the goddamn cop cars, they are subject to fucking tow. I was told this multiple times. If the emergency lights are not on,
Well, hold on, Pred. You just said two different things. First, you said lights, then you said emergency lights. Which one is it?
all right, listen, because lights and emergency lights, the lights is inferring the emergency lights.
No. Just like it doesn't just say vehicles with it says government vehicles because it's clarifying, Pred. It's clarifying. For the same reason the mayor can park in front of City Hall, okay, is the same reason I can park there. He puts his
Mayor
lights
cannot.
on. Well, Your Honor, I hate to break it to you, but
The fact that you don't enforce it doesn't mean that that's how it goes.
no, his vehicle.
Don't you
I
argue
have been
with
told
the judge,
his vehicle
you
is
animal.
considered a government vehicle.
By a judge?
Uh,
Or by him?
by a judge and Crane as well. Crane parks his car up the stairs at Mission Row.
Crane is a grumpy, decrepit old man who has always broken parking laws.
You know what? That might be right.
True.
Okay, but if I'm told by Crane that it is deemed a government vehicle, I'm not challenging that.
I
No,
just have to
because
challenge things in
because
I
there
will leave
is
this-
there
I will
is
leave
clarification.
this for my verdict to explain, but
God, I understand. I understand. There is clarification with certain things regarding who falls under government. And that, you know what? Maybe we can even use clarification as to what government vehicles are, Your
Technically,
Honor.
I'm a government worker.
government vehicles are the vehicles used by first responders in emergencies. As for the purposes of the parking charges.
Well, yeah, Your Honor, I hate to break it to you. There are
As re-
fairly inconsistent
Arguing
things.
with the judge. Typical police.
I'm
Have
not-
some respect.
As
No.
clarified by the Chief Justice himself to all judges multiple times.
So, Your Honor, it does indicate, under a couple things that list government employees, law
Government employees and
enforcement.
government vehicles are not the same thing.
Well, you would assume that a government vehicle would be driven by government employees, right?
You remember what happens when you assume?
Yeah,
Well-
I know. I know. But until there's further clarification, it's hard to determine what is what. I mean, listen, I've already told
Is
them
that
here.
not
if
why
I-
we're here today?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are.
Rhodes, are we debating or are you debating with the judge?
Why are you
need
trying to-
You need to calm
Pred-
down and relax.
I need to Pred, don't.
You need to
don't.
stop arguing with the judge right now. You seem insane.
I'm insane. The fact that you would
seem
show up looking like
insane.
this, Pred, is in fucking sane. How disrespectful.
I have been going through some things that I can't talk about.
What, too busy towing cars, Pred?
No. Well, that part of that too.
Uh-huh.
Part of
Yes,
it. That's
alcoholism.
a lesser part. The alcoholism, yes.
Oh.
Rhodes, listen. You stated that you turned your emergency lights off,
Yep, sure did.
and then you arrested the man for towing your car in the loading zone. That you stated would be, if it was not a government emergency vehicle, would have been towed.
I did not say government emergency vehicle. I said government vehicle with lights and or sirens on.
Boom. That's fine. Perfect. Your Honor, he just
But to be
admitted
clear-
he just admitted
to be
it. I'm gonna
clear,
honest with you.
I gave him a lawful order to not touch my vehicle, not tow my vehicle, to which he did not follow that lawful order. In fact, he was given multiple lawful orders to not touch the
Drop
vehicle.
these charges and admit you're wrong.
No!
Drop
Bold
these charges and
strategy.
admit you're damn wrong, Rhodes.
No!
Drop it all
Absolutely
and
not.
walk out of here and call it a day.
I'm gonna
You
walk
fucked
out of
up
here no
on this
matter
one,
what.
big
I
dog.
did not fuck up on this
You
one.
dropped the ball on this one.
I dropped the ball?
I know how you operate. I know you better than anybody.
I
Beg to
won't.
differ.
I won't.
I know you better than your husband. Your Honor,
don't know
I
about
want it
that
on
one.
record. If I
No.
was gay, me and him would be married.
Oh.
That's
Your
crazy.
Honor, if that were to ever happen, I'd be in a fucking mental facility. With
That
the stress
happened
that
to
he would
Angel.
put.
That did happen,
Damn.
Danger.
Brad would be
Exactly.
right there with you.
To be fair, I was told the other day that if somebody, a certain person, were to get with me, they would need therapy afterwards. So
Oh. Okay, but
you
thi-
know,
but that might be like a personal thing. This is like everyone probably has the same thought about Kyle.
I don't know.
Oh
I'm
my
sure there's
God.
somebody out there who can match his energy and strength and not be driven insane by it.
Ah! Ah!
Are you good?
Yeah, I was just shouting at the
Sounds like a
crowd,
little
keeping them-
gas.
I was just keeping the crowds.
Yeah, hold up. Why don't we get Mr. Stokes in this debate? Mr. Stokes, why don't you come on up? I'm only one person. There's three of y'all.
You sit your handicapped ass down.
Oh,
To be
Oh my
fair,
God. Oh
Rhodes,
my
it's
God.
just been you and Kyle.
it's true. It's true. You know what? Your Honor, I don't want to. I don't. Never mind.
I believe we're pretty much meeting an impasse in this debate.
That's a
Unless there
possibility.
is a new point to volley, we might just move to closing statements. We'll leave that for Kyle to decide.
Flacco, I may need to speak to you with Pred about a plea deal. Hey, Pred, I'm going to see if I can organize that.
We do need. Where's Frost at? We need. to
Frost
talk
went
about
off
that.
duty, but
Your Honor,
Flacco's
would
around.
you be available to sit around for that afterward?
Depending on how
Pretty
long
busy.
this goes, I do have an appointment at 1 p.m. Eastern, so in
Okay.
2 hours.
Okay, that's
So that
fine.
means I'd have to leave in about 90 minutes.
I believe I already got
Currently in the
everything out
field,
of
then I
Rhodes
will.
in this debate. I mean, when you look at it like this, I don't believe the man.
Is this your
actually
closing?
tried to- No, I mean we're still.
How about you
debating.
save it for the closing?
You are
we
still
really
allowed
need
a
a
closing
closing?
statement.
Okay, all right, we can save it for closing.
All right, you're up.
All right.
Rhodes, you usually go
Wait, who
first for
runs this
closing
courtroom?
statements.
Oh
He passed
shit!
it to
You
me.
know what?
Oh,
He passed the rock,
damn.
Your Honor. Go
You know
ahead,
what?
Rhodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still get
insist.
to go. I never rested. That's why I was here on time.
I
unlike you.
insist, Rhodes. You go first.
Okay,
I
all right,
insist.
all right. Well,
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm gonna make this short, sweet, and to the point. Okay. All of this stemmed over what they believe to be unauthorized parking, and I hate to break it to them, but ignorance of the law is no defense. He took my car. He disobeyed a lawful order. It prevented me from getting somebody in custody. All of that happened because he decided to willfully, Your Honor, disregard and disobey any lawful order I gave him. And to that I say, there are consequences. And Mr. Stokes was parked illegally with his tow truck. It was not perfectly in front of the vehicle. It was actually blocking most of the road. Therefore, the tow truck impound should also stick. Did I miss anything? Took the car, felony obstruction because the guy got away because he was towing my car, couldn't pursue, disobeying, resisting because he was walking away. Yeah, I think that's all. My lights were on, is a long story short. And Mr. Stokes just I don't know. Crazy.
I'm going to
Alright.
dissect this whole argument, Your Honor, and I'm going to try and be swift about it. All right, tow trucks are large. Whenever vehicles are illegally parked, we do have to put ourselves in ways that obscure sometimes traffic in order to move vehicles to clear traffic. This is the nature of being a tow driver. This is the nature of being a tow man. It's what I like to call the tow responsibility. I call it the golden tow road. You see, my client operated within good faith. The vehicle was illegally parked. The emergency lights were not on. He admitted this. The vehicle was subject to tow. This was before the new legislation was put in place saying that emergency vehicles, regardless of lights and sirens being on
We're not
or
going to
emergency
object.
lights, are no longer subject to tow, which is bullshit.
we
and
could.
Probably going to be getting changed soon anyway, because these cops park like animals. I actually firmly believe that Matt Rhodes baited this situation. That's what he did. That's what he
Oh
did.
my
He
God!
he admittedly went back to his car and turned his emergency lights off.
Ash, thank you for the raid.
He
I hope
knew
you had a
what he was
wonderful
doing
stream and
was
harmless.
wrong,
Same.
And he wanted
Thank
to
you for
roll
the
the
raid.
dice.
Hope
You
you had
see,
a
he's
wonderful
addicted
stream.
to it because he's a sick, twisted man, and it's all my fault. He doesn't have me around anymore. You see, he needs me. I know you need me, Rhodes. I know you need me. You need me, baby. Now then, I mean, the charge is just, joyriding. Can we really say that if he was towing it in good faith, that if he was towing an illegally parked car for it to be considered joyriding? No. Him being told to not tow the vehicle, but then, Matt Rhodes turning the emergency lights off and making the vehicle illegally parked kind of nullifies disobeying a peace officer. The only person that obstructed their own justice was Matt Rhodes when he turned off the emergency lights, knowing that there was potentially going to be crime that could happen in front of him if he was truly in duty or on duty. And as far as the commercial parking violation goes, let's be honest about that one. Is every time a vehicle is towing somebody, isn't it technically then just commercial parking violation at that point? Because but he was operating within good faith. He was operating within the Golden Tow Road. This man's going to be a member of the tow union one day if he keeps on making good tows like this. I like what I'm seeing. I like it. And then as far as resisting arrest goes, I don't think my client deliberately resisted arrest. I think that my client deliberately fled from a goddamn madman who was towing the line and abusing his authority.
Towing the line?
He didn't run away. He got tackled and then
got tackled.
There
He
was
got
no
attacked.
breaking cuffs.
I think I've touched on enough things, Your Honor, and I don't want to, go into a 20-minute spiel about how much I hate the police, because I don't hate Rhodes. I think Rhodes does terrific work most of the time. But I just think in this instance, he fucked up, and he fucked up bad.
Your Honor, I'd like to point out the obvious in that.
Wait, a closing?
Yeah. No, it's just when Pred is walking around like this, it's because mentally nothing is going on. But if he keeps doing this, his mouth will keep moving, and he'll finally come up with something as long as he does it for long enough.
Shut up!
Just like this. Figure eight motion. Infinity, because it's the amount of things he could say if all he does is continue. Just like this.
I'm in the zone right now. Your Honor, I'm in the zone, and I always have something to say. I could keep going for another 20 minutes about this if I wanted to.
Yeah, but you're not. I'm going to go deliberate.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey,
Yeah,
Fred, good
it's
to
just
see you,
going to
by the
take
way.
a
You look
while
great.
because there's a lot I have to touch on.
All right. Brad, come over here, if possible.
Was this the thing in front of Mosley's?
Hey, no problem.
Yeah, it was
my
that
God,
one.
why wasn't I called for this?
Don't worry about it. I didn't want to take up anyone's time.
I would have loved to have been here for this.
All right, Pred, Flacco.
What up, big dog?
So after this, Flacco, do you have some time to discuss any potential plea deal?
Yeah, I can hang around.
Okay, perfect.
Jimmy told me about it.
All right. So here's what we'll do. We
need
as soon
the
as
judge to be present, and then we need my I don't know if my client can be present though, because I can't.
Well, I mean, we can offer a plea deal, and then you present that to your client, and as long as the judge approves it, I don't even think a judge has to be present originally. As long as it's posted on the docket, a judge approves it, then we can proceed
Yeah, but I
from
mean,
there.
doesn't it make it? This makes it more. Makes it better if a judge is present when discussing a plea deal, but then also, I guess you could have any party present when discussing a plea deal. So
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's presented to their counsel and you present it to your client whenever they're around, then you let us know whether or not they agree.
Drop the charge.
You're crazy.
I think we should just drop it.
Yeah.
Look,
I don't think you're thinking.
Little drugs. I mean,
Also,
come on.
Could you take your hat off and then maybe put it back on real quick? Oh no, that really is just you.
It might need to be a cigarette.
This cigarette's staying in my mouth.
That's a long cigarette.
But I look fine.
Yeah, you
Look
look
like I
fine.
got
At
Kiki
least
face.
It's fine to me.
It's giving Kiki.
Oh.
but I don't know. Been a while. No, it's
Don't
given
know.
Kiki for sure. Oh, not anymore. Now we're good. Oh, much better. Much better.
Things have been tough roads for me. I'm out here in the streets taking care of